Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Breakout Racing League ACC Tier 2 here tonight at Round 2 at Zolder for Season 5. Practice has just ended, and we're stepping into qualifying here. Only 7 drivers are on the grid tonight, so definitely a shame considering how good last race was with 15 drivers, I believe. But we're still going to have fun tonight, and yeah, we're just getting ready to go. We have 2 Hondas. 3 Hondas actually, a Lexus, a McLaren, and a Nissan along with a Porsche. Our front runners aren't here except Mr. Pink in the Porsche. He was running for second most of the last 2 races at Misano, but we still got a good field spread and hopefully got some close racing. As we're currently watching GameStopper on his outlap. Hope everyone's night is going well. Just getting off work and you get to enjoy this stream. We're now going to go ahead and hop on board with the Nissan driver and view his lap. Across 133 flat. Yeah, Phantom in the chat saying nice apex in the sand. Yeah, it was an interesting line to take to the corner, but I'd call that a pretty good outlap. At least he knows where to brake for next time. Kushibuchi sets the provisional pole time at 31.5 in the McLaren. In the Tier 1 race last night, which sadly wasn't streamed, but in that race, the McLaren did not feel great. It's definitely not the best car for this track, but if he can keep it consistent and just stay on the track, he can get a good result. I know there was a safety car within the first lap of the race, and I pitted under that safety car, and then that took me all the way up to P2 for the race on those old tires on a full tank of fuel, so anything can happen. And Jug, you are right, I am your hero. That is very true in last night's race. As the game audio is a bit too high. Alright, I am back, and I have changed the game audio on the Twitch side of things and the game side of things. Let me know if that's any better, chat. And yeah, I say just about everyone drives harder than Skeppy. If I know a couple of us saw his braking last race, and yeah, I feel bad for anyone just ahead of Skeppy because he will scare you off the track with his crazy braking. Gucci goes into the gravel. A lot of people using the gravel line tonight, it seems, just trying to find as much time as possible. But this isn't a street track. You just can't go on the runoff. There's gravel here, so a lot of the drivers don't want to get cut off in this race by using that gravel, especially at this chicane right here. And someone's knocked over that cone, and Gucci's ran over that cone, and now it's sitting there on the apex. So that'll be nice to see on a fast lap, just a random cone in the middle of the track. Mr. Pink is currently provisional pole position with 30.3 in the lone Porsche. Just the cone's being hit again, and now it's being hit out of existence. You love to see it. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Neymar is kind of in a OP car, you know. I haven't seen this many Ferraris since season 1, and it's the car's definitely showing its pace. It's kind of annoying, not gonna lie, especially when the fastest guy jug in Tier 1 is in the Ferrari, so I guess that just makes us all have to step up our game to try and match him, so he won't get a championship, because nobody wants to see that in Tier 1. Here comes Axe F1 across the line. What can he do? He improves by about 2 seconds, go up to P6. Kieran is now back in the session, I believe. Game Stopper is original last, 3 seconds off the pace. I'm sure he's got more time. And the next one with the cross the line is Redeemer. He's about to finish his lap. What do you do? He does not improve, about 6 cents off his pace. But let's go ahead and stay on board with this last so he can find more time. Although the cars are spinning off the rears now. Only a tenth and a half down. We'll still find plenty of time this lap. Into that inside curve, not the best way to get around the corner. Where he breaks here for this corner, you gotta break late, you gotta break deep. Does he break deep? That's pretty late. Can he make the corner? He gets on the grass a little bit and he's spun around. I'm sorry I had to catch that Redeemer. I'm so sorry, but it happened. And now you're famous. Mason Suckers. Bardell's coming Pink coming across the line. Clear on 2, that was just an outlap. Let's see what we can do here so he can go any faster. Currently almost a second up on the guy in second place, Titan. Yeah, I thought Tier 2 was going to be full too, but I don't know what happened to half the grid. So it's just 7, 8 if, who was that? I don't remember who was in the Ferrari, but there was a Ferrari in here earlier, so hopefully we can get some more people in. There's still almost 11 minutes left to qualifying, and unlike F1, you can join in qualifying whenever you like without having to worry about the session bug out. So it would be nice if we got more people here. You know, we had 9 people in the race reminder check in, but too short of that. It's definitely not what you want to be, considering how exciting last race was at the time. But hey, still streaming, you know. Still have a streamer, unlike Tier 1. He seems to struggle with getting a confirmed streamer for Tier 1 every single season. 5 seasons now. Season 4 is definitely the best, I'd say, in terms of consistent streams. I only think we made maybe 2 or 3 races out of the 12. Yeah, hopefully we can get tier 1 streamer for tier 1 because it's a shame to not have the fastest tier in ACC stream. Trying to find the limits of that Porsche. We saw that with John in yesterday's race. I say we saw that, but there was no stream, so the drivers saw it. But yeah, we saw the Porsche was kind of a pain to handle in some of these curbs, especially with the acceleration. It's known to spin, even though the brakes are amazing. It's a real challenge to drive the car. I think Mr. Pink is just kind of finding his way around the track. Every time he makes a mistake, he just finds if he can brake a bit later, just as a lap. Oh, there's a Ferrari. Kieran is back in. With about 8 minutes left, so he's got plenty of time to set some lap times. It's tight end. Is he gonna improve? We'll see in a minute here. Does he improve? No, he doesn't. Still 8.5 tenths off of Mr. Pink's time. I have to say, the gap between second to fourth is pretty close. Only 3 tenths, and a further 5 tenths to Redeemer as Kieran leaves the session again. Hopefully he can get that fixed before the race starts, because he doesn't know he'll have to start from the pits. Axe has found a bit more time. He's found about, I'd say, 4 tenths from his previous PB, so now he's only 2.6 seconds off the lead. Previous tier 1 streamer, but he's finding his way around ACC. He hasn't raced competitively in quite a while, but he's getting there. I'm sure with this long calendar, he'll be challenging for podiums and maybe even a win by the end of the season. Here comes Alex across the line. Can he improve? Nope, still. Actually. Mr. Pink just improved? No, he didn't. I was just looking at the times wrong. I thought Axe had lost a tenth somehow, but no, it didn't. Teams, Mr. Titan and Mr. Pink are just trading lap times here. You can see Mr. Titan's just barely off of his PB on that last lap, and then we have Mr. Pink is actually quite a bit farther ahead. Like 6 tenths clear between the two in the previous lap. Let's see if Mr. Titan can improve. He's about 3 tenths up right now. Looks like a good lap so far. Getting really good actually. He's almost 5 tenths up. Going board with the Honda driver, the lead Honda driver, Verdell, about 3 tenths off of him so far. Mr. Pink gravel stays all the way though. Doesn't have to worry about that. Comes down to the tricky chicane right. You cut the inside curve like you're supposed to. Kind of left. You cut the inside curve there. Does it on the first. Don't spin here. Lift if you cannot. He has to lift anyways. Fair enough. Comes up, so you can get beef in 2 tenths, which he does here in this hairpin. First gear, turn in. Oh, don't go wide. It's fine. Keep going, keep going. He's still out this last chicane here. He's gonna have to brake just after the 100-meter board if he wants to get any chance of finding more time as he brakes really heavily here. Oh, he goes over the curbing. The Honda didn't like that, and he's lost all of his time. Gets loose for good measure. And it being about 6.5 tenths left. Does he improve? He does by about half a second, so he's definitely got a lot of time to find. Hopefully he can get the laps together. He's still got 5 minutes left in the session. It's good enough for about 3, maybe 4 laps. But it's good to see that he has the pace to try and actually pull from Mr. Pink. And hopefully his race pace will be closer to Mr. Pink so he can have the fight. He's 10th up, so he's Still gaining, not as much as his previous lap, but any improvement is still good. Like, ooh, as he gets the release of that curve, but I was just about to say, he has that delta on the final chicane, he'll still be able to find a lot of time through there. So, as long as he can just keep his lap valid and on the track, he can find almost probably 4 or 5 tenths just through that final chicane. He actually just about keeps it flat this time. He does for the chicane. Wasn't great last time. Don't touch the grass. Cut in on the power. Don't go wide. It's definitely better, but not the best. These guys are in Tier 2, so they're definitely just finding their way up the game, and they're just trying their best out here. In the chicane, lose a lot of time here. We'll get it all back, and here it goes. 4 tenths, 5 tenths, 5.5 tenths, 5.5 tenths, and now he's only 2.5 tenths down on Mr. Pink. So, like I said in that final chicane, he's going to find a lot of time as he really cuts the curve in there. It actually works out as Axe pops up to 3rd. He's only 1.1 seconds off the pace. We just found a 1.5 seconds. Now had Gucci Lucci and Ardell. Look at the gap from 3rd all the way down to 6th. That's 90 hundredths of a second. That's coming into the pits. I'm gonna get a fresh set of tires and barely any fuel and just go out and set laps. Definitely has a chance to snatch that pole. Back to stay in this time. Game stopper, go, he drifts, and that's probably going to be a wrap over. I just saw Redeemer, he improved about 1/1500 of a second, but he's still in P6. That's just how close he's 3rd through 6th place is. Hopefully he can find some more time as he got double podium last time out in Osana, so he'll definitely be hoping to qualify a bit higher up and just to stick with the other guys. The top tier are all in the pits, they're not going out again. So they're happy with their times right now. Gucci's only 3 thousandths of a second off. I think that's the placement. I can't be too sure, but it's very close. It's McLaren v Honda fight so far. Currently in a Honda sandwich. Triple Honda, 1 McLaren Decker sandwich here. It's just gonna try his best to try and get ahead of both of these Hondas on the board. Left in the session, so him and Redeemer will be the last 2 to cross the line. Just about to get on board with the McLaren driver, alone the McLaren driver couldn't do it. Last lap and call. Let's go! He hits the wall! No! Where's Redeemer? Oh, he gets out the way. Very good from Gucci. Got out the way. Oh no, his Redeemer goes off. He may have been slow on his lap anyways, but that's qualifying over, folks. Mr. Pink on pole, 2.5 tenths ahead of Mr. Titan. And the gap between P3 to P6 is less than a tenth of a second, with Axe, a surprise P3, Gucci P4, splitting the two of the three Hondas, with Ardell behind, Redeemer very close in the Lexus, along with Banestopper for the second off of Redeemer. And then Kieran, who just joined the session, hopefully he can stay in the session for the race. Gucci, our safety car, of course, not setting a lap. But yeah, that's qualifying over for now. Let's compare the times in free practice. Yeah, Mr. Pink was very close to his time in free practice, and Titan found about 5 tenths on his lap, so good from him. And then Axe, especially, he found 31.5. That's a 33.2, so he almost found a whole 2 seconds. So good improvement from Axe, F1 especially. And he'll definitely be happy with that P3 starting right behind his teammate. Yeah, Skeppy said in the chat, this could be a good race. Only 8 drivers, but the gap between third down to 6 is really close, and then Mr. Pink and Mr. Titan, if their qualifying pace is the same as their race pace, they'll be in the distance, but they'll be very close to each other, hopefully the whole race, as this is a hour-long race. Still the same amount as the last race at Misano, because both those races were 30 minutes each, but this time they will have a mandatory pit stop. They can pit whenever they like. There is no pit window, so they're free to pit on the first lap or the penultimate lap, as long as they pit at least once for new tires. And we'll have to see if any of these drivers put a full tank of fuel in their car or just split it up half and half, as you would assume most drivers would do. And as you can see there, the number 1 next to the gamer tags of the drivers shows that they still have 1 pit stop left. When that orange color goes to green, it means the pit stop is cleared. These drivers have about a minute and 40 seconds left to get their set of track, get their fuel, get their tires. Don't want to start on old tires, boys, so they've got that much time left to get everything ready before their long race ahead of them. Oh, my bad. I was thinking of Tier 1. The race is only 45 minutes. My apologies. 15 minutes less than Tier 1 race. So, they'll have 15 minutes less of safety cars and less time to battle, which means possibly more aggressive overtakes, as they have less time to try and make a move. But still a long race for these Tier 2 drivers. 15 minutes more than both of the races at Misano, so they'll have to split up their fuel evenly as to not be too slow on the first stint, and hopefully be even faster in the second stint. We are now going on to the start of the first lap in about 10 seconds here. Mr. Titan already wanting the lead, letting Mr. Pink know that he's hungry for that chance at leading the race. Now slowing down a little bit. They have to maintain that speed limit of about 45 miles per hour. They will be going green any second now. When does Mr. Pink go? You have to go soon, and he goes. Now, a bit delayed a little bit, but he's got away well, as there's a fight going on between Axe and Gucci. His Axe hits the back of his teammate. Little drift for Mr. Pink. It's more cross off. That's Gucci up to P3 now, and Axe has gone from 3rd down to P6 there. Lucci could not make the start of the race, as now we have a fight between the two McLarens. Hopefully they keep it nice and clean. We saw the teamwork between the 3 Honda drivers in the last race. Hopefully they can keep it up now and just follow each other. That is not the start that Axe F1 wanted after such a good qualifying session, but they've already caught up a little bit with Mr. Pinks. Hopefully they can stay close to him. They do not see... Oh, this Axe screwed up again, I believe. I don't know how exactly. We'll have to check the replays in a few minutes here, but he's gone from all the way from 3rd down to last place. So he's definitely got some work to do. Like I said, it's a long race, 45 minutes, anything can happen. His kart racer joins. He's barely missed the start. That's very unfortunate. But you can start now. Just get a setup in. He'll only be, if you can get out within like the next lap, it'll only be a lap or 2 down. And if we have safety cars, which safety car is currently not here at the moment, but if we do get a safety car, he can possibly get the chance to unlap himself and get right in this fight for some points here. Oh, this Mr. Pink goes wide. It's down to P3, and now he's going to have to worry about the drivers behind. It's very unfortunate. Here comes GameStopper. Is going to go down the inside. Yes, he will. Mr. Pink lets him through. No point in fighting there. But here comes Gucci Lucci in the McLaren. He wants some of Mr. Pink here. Can he make the move? I think he will. Mr. Pink backs off. Very smart from the Porsche driver. He knows he has the pace. And most of these guys up ahead, so we're just going to sit behind for now. Try and launch attack within the next 40 minutes here. Oh, is that Gucci Lucci going off? He also has gone off. So a lot of these drivers, like I said, getting in that gravel, it's not what you want. It's a very tough track around here at Zolder. The gravel's gonna bite you if you go in it. So you have to be very careful. These drivers are trying their best, but they're making a few mistakes here early on in the race. That's Redeemer going a bit wide. I think Axe F1's going to get past him. Yes, he will, just barely. Will Redeemer launch it up the inside? Oh, he's going to tuck back in. And I think Axe F1 will keep that position for now. Fisher Titan now leads a 1-2 of Hondas with Ardell behind him. Staying close to his teammate here. Good to see from the 4th place qualified Honda. GameStop really rides that curve. That's not what you want. If Mr. Pink is right behind him, really make the move here. We'll have to wait and see. But on the grass, it's not what you want. Oh, Ardell really hops the curve, and Mr. Pink makes an excellent move on the Nissan driver as Redeemer really hops those curves in that Lexus. As you can see now, Ardell is starting to lose a little bit of time to his teammate. Not too much, but Mr. Pink is definitely starting to catch up here. There's a bit of a train forming from P4 all the way down to P7 here. From GameStopper down to Redeemer. But other than that, I have to say the racing's been pretty clean. Definitely cleaner than Tier 1 so far. But we'll have to wait and see. It's still a long race to go, and it's a very difficult track to overtake, and you will have to be very aggressive if you want to make a move. But hopefully these guys can keep it in line and not be too aggressive and ram into each other, because you never want to see that in racing. As you can see now, Mr. Pink really applying the pressure to BRL Ardell now, as he definitely has the race pace here, as he did in qualifying. Ardell goes a bit wide. That's going to give Mr. Pink the run. That Porsche's pretty slow on a straight. Can he? Oh, Ardell really squeezes him. Mr. Pink got the lift off a little bit there. Will he send up the inside? He's going to think about it. No, he's not going to get the move done yet. I'm going to go back now to Game Stopper. What's going on here? Gucci's still behind him. Got that nice train going on. Redeemer starting to lose a bit of time to those two. Have to pick up the pace a little bit if he wants to stay in the slipstream of the two drivers ahead of him. Ardell is doing the job for Honda right now, allowing Titan to pull away, which is what he needs. Ardell will definitely fight hard for this podium. He fights hard in F1, in BRL, and he fights hard in ACC. He's going to try his best to keep ahead of Mr. Pink. Oh, as Mr. Pink goes through the move, and there's contact, and Mr. Pink goes off onto the grass. He gets back into P3 behind Ardell, and now Game Stopper's right here. He's gonna make a move. As Gucci's trying to make a move, he's gonna use this to see the mirrors. He makes it. That was a very nice move from the McLaren driver. But now Mr. Pink has to do it all over again. He has to go catch Ardell and try and pass the Honda driver. I don't think he has too much damage, if any. Oh, yeah, he has a bit of little paint gone off, but I don't think it's any damage to warrant a repair, or at least a lengthy one. So he's already catching back up again, so it's just a matter of trying to get the move done. As the train is now starting to form once again, but you got past Game Stopper, which allowed Redeemer to catch up along with Axe F1. Ardell, I believe, goes into the gravel a little bit. That's going to give Mr. Pink the opportunity to make a move. Will he make it? No, he's going to back out, try and get the better run out of the chicane. He will. No, he does not. He's going to have to wait a bit longer here to try and get past Ardell. The gap is now 7 seconds between Ardell and Mr. Titan. Oh, as Ardell goes into the gravel, Mr. Pink tried to look out the inside, maybe to force a mistake, and he's forced the mistake. Now they're going to have to go side by side here. It's really close between the two drivers. Will there be contact? Don't let there be contact. No, there's not. Mr. Pink backs out at just the right time as Game Stopper goes wide, and that allows Redeemer to get through. And now he's fell back to the bottom of the positions here. He's now in last place. Axe is up a position, so Axe is just sitting there making positions up for the mistakes of his fellow drivers. So Mr. Pink is still stuck behind Ardell. This is not what he needed for his race. He had pole, and now he's made a few mistakes. He's dropped down to third, which doesn't sound bad on paper, but now he's almost 10 seconds off of the lead. Here comes Redeemer and our Axe as they make contact, and that's not what you want to see. That might be a serious inquiry from Redeemer. I think that was a very unfortunate incident. I don't think Axe did that on purpose. It was just he broke that bit later, and he wasn't expecting Redeemer to break that bit earlier than him. And that's a very unfortunate incident, but it's a very long race. Very long race indeed, so he can hopefully come back, as we've seen mistakes from his fellow drivers already. Oh, it's Mr. Titan's made a mistake. Oh, here comes Mr. Pink, looking up the inside. Maybe Maygardo make another mistake. I think Mr. Pink's gonna get the better exit. Yes, he does. He's gonna try and make the move again. Can he make the move? It's gonna be very close. I think he's just about to get ahead of Ardell. He's got the inside line. That's the line you want for overtaking at the first corner, and he gets the move done as Ardell goes a bit wide. Here comes Gucci, maybe making the move. Be able to get the move done just yet. Unless Ardell makes a mistake in this next right-hander. Make a mistake. Oh, I don't think he will. He rides that curve. That's not what you want to do. It's going to unsettle the car. Gucci might try to make a move or just stick behind for now. Wait and see. Who's going to go for it? He's actually going for it. As he backs out, he goes over the curve because he knew he was going to hit Ardell. So smart driving from Gucci to avoid contact there. We try and force it up the inside here. Definitely not. I'm gonna go to replays real quick and see if I can see what happened to Titan. Oh, is that dude on the grass there? Oh, he spun out the chicane. No, he is. Wow, he just flew off the curbs at the chicane. And that cost them a 10-second lead. That's exactly what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. He just flew over those curbs and it sent his car into the air momentarily and then into a spin. It's very unfortunate for Mr. Titan. His teammate was really helping him out, holding up Mr. Pink for such a long time. The gap is only 2.5 seconds, which it was before Mr. Pink made a mistake originally. As there's Mr. Titan making a mistake. That's a pretty cool camera angle. This is actually a really cool camera angle, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, now the gap is slightly coming down even between Mr. Titan and Mr. Pink, so we thought this race would be decided between these two, and it is being decided by these two at midfield, having their own little scrap here. That is GameStop. He's putting now. Got damage. No, I don't think he has damage actually. He just wants to hit. I'm 15 minutes into this race, so he can definitely strap on a new set of tires and some fuel, and he'll be fine till the end, with this only being a 45-minute race. Hopefully, he's trying to get the undercut done. We'll have to see if he can get it done within the next few laps here. I'm sure people will probably be pitting soon to react to him. Yeah, I am a bit of a camera whiz, I'm not gonna lie. That is something I pride myself on. being a backseat spectator, any stream really regarding league racing, I always gripe on the commentators for not using the right camera angles. But I try my best, and anyone's free to look at my camera angles and try and use them for their own benefit. I am absolutely fine with that. Right going on. Me, leader in second place here. Mr. Pink and Mr. Titan, the two misters of BRL ACC Tier 2. They've been close at Visano in terms of qualifying pace, not so much in the race. They're definitely close here in qualifying and in the race. Now they're both fighting for the win, which is what we're expecting as Mr. Pink backs off a little bit. Lucci, so he's reacting to Game Stopper. But he'll get ahead, we'll have to see. Game Stopper is only about 4-5 seconds ahead of Mr. Titan. Yeah, 4 seconds ahead. So Game Stopper has to increase his pace if he wants to not get lapped before Mr. Titan and Mr. Pink hit. So we'll have to see if he gets lapped or not. Really rises his curves compared to Mr. Pink on this lap. Now the gap's down to about 3.5 seconds between Mr. Titan and Game Stopper. Yeah, I'm sure that gingerbread was pretty important there. I'm confident the gingerbread played a role in the betterment of Miniko's life. Whether or not it tasted good, well, I guess we'll never know, but let's hope, because I know we all wanted last night's race to be streamed in Tier 1, because it was fun, especially being second place, leading a 10-car train. That was definitely pretty fun. Game Stopper making a mistake at the final chicane, and like I said, he's gonna have to be careful here. He might get lapped. I think he will get lapped unless these two pit in the next lap or so. We have Ardell coming into the pits now. There's Lucci keeping out behind these two. Gamer's coming now. He hasn't made his stop as Ardell's coming in to make his stop. Game Stopper's actually made the undercut work. He's got ahead of Lucci. It's about a 3-second gap, so undercut looking pretty strong around here. And it definitely helps that Gucci was fighting with Axe the previous couple of laps, so we'll have to see how well these other guys go. As Mr. Titan makes a huge mistake, completely cuts the chicane, and now Game Stopper is going off. Hopefully that doesn't interfere with the racing here. Hopefully he just pulls off to the side. I think he is. Off. Yes, he is. Very good to see from Game Stopper. Because remember, in ACC and GT Racing, you don't have to let the driver see about the lap you pass. You could just be a douchebag and just stay in front of him. As here comes Mr. Pink into the pits, Mr. Titan goes out for another lap. No point in pitting on the same lap when the guy you're racing is coming in as well. So Mr. Titan comes into the pits now. It's going to be very interesting to see how this works out. One is still staying out. Kind of ahead of Mr. Titan. Mr. Titan is still making his way through the pits. Where is this pit? It's all the way over here. That's a long drive to get into. Was that guessing the gravel a bit there? So Acton, Redeemer, along with Mr. King, to still have the pit, so about half the grid still has to do their pit stops. This has worked out really well for Game Stopper. Not so much for Ardell, he's lost positions to these two in front of him. But there's still 25 minutes left in this race, so plenty of time to make things happen. Mr. Titan is coming out of the pits just now. We'll just restart the lap. He's about 2 tenths off his PB. You know he stays out, he's going to keep going. Across the line. Yeah, 2 tenths off his PB, so still plenty of time to find. He can still keep going, keep pushing, and go ahead and compare the lap time. 31 flat for Hey, there you are. This PB is a better one as well, so they're very similar on race pace. So it's just going to be a matter of if Mr. Pink's tires can keep going at this pace, or if Mr. Titan's tires can pick up rubber fast and just blitz Mr. Pink before Mr. Pink makes the pit stop. Mr. Redeemer now comes to the pits while Axe stays out for another lap. Like Game Stopper and Gucci Lucci now. We're fighting last race at Masson, and they're fighting again here at Zolder, so these two definitely getting comfy with each other's racecraft, and they should know how to battle each other without making any contact. So for now, we'll watch this fight as there appears to be no others on the track until Mr. Titan and Mr. Pink possibly come back racing against each other again. Right behind, right ahead of Gucci Lucci. So hopefully this will be a race-long battle. Mr. Pink stays out for another lap here. He's going to try and go long, have those slightly fresher tires and less race fuel. So maybe that's his plan for the rest of this race. I believe Axe has just come out the pits. Oh, he's still racing. Still has not pitted. Still in P2. So him and Mr. Pink are the only two drivers left to pit. It's about an 18-second gap between the two. They're both going as long as they can, trying to do the overcut. It can be very, very powerful on ACC, so we'll have to wait and see. Mr. Titan's coming across the line now. What is his lap time? Pretty slow, so he's had a pretty scruffy lap. Yeah, I think 1:32.4, about 1.4 seconds off his PB. Actually, these two fighting. Game Stopper still just barely ahead now. We have now completed lap 15 of this race. About halfway, so probably expect another... Oh, Game Stopper just a little bit. Probably another 16, 17 laps now of this race. As they're also going side by side, Ardell and Redeemer. A little bit. It's Gucci and Game Stopper going side by side as well. Two fights on the track, hard to pick one, but we're going to focus on these two as Gucci just gets ahead of Game Stopper. Oh, as Gucci goes really over that curve, and that's not going to help his run, but fair racing between these two. This Game Stopper goes a bit deeper on the brakes than Gucci. Very interesting launch on these two drivers. They're definitely trying everything to fight each other for as long as possible. As Game Stopper takes the wrong light and goes over on the grass, and that's not going to help him. He brakes really late, so late that he goes onto the grass again and has to run over it for about 5 or so seconds. And that's really going to hurt his race as now Mr. Pink finally comes into the pits. This will be crucial. Does he get down in time? Yes, he does. Worries about penalties so far in this race. Here's Mr. Titan. Just now approaching the first sector split line. Enough to time. Let's watch him for the rest of this lap and see where Mr. Pink comes out in comparison to him. Yeah, McLaren, they found a lucrative sponsorship with the lawnmower company, so they're manufacturing the lawnmowers now, it seems. So all the power to them. Hopefully the lawnmowers are good. I think Gucci had a good lawnmower, and so does Nissan with GameStopper. So interesting to see how many lawnmowers we have in motorsports. We have Mercedes too, and Ferrari. Well, Ferrari does tractors, as we've seen the past few seasons in F1. So good to see so many car manufacturers not just doing cars. So there's GameStopper. I mean, not GameStopper. Mr. Pink, I think, is going to come out ahead, quite a ways ahead actually. He does. He comes up quite a ways ahead, but his tires will be very cold on this outlap. So we'll see if Mr. Pink can close down the gap. One coming into the pits as well. Just a lap or two after Mr. Pink. Mr. Pink goes on the grass. Does it really hurt his time that much? He only lost about half a tenth, but definitely could have been better. As good as wide, following Mr. Pink's lines, and it's not working. But he has gained quite a bit. He's probably gained about a second on Mr. Pink on this lap alone. So it's just a matter of staying in that second of the Porsche. It's not the best on the straight. So Mr. Pink, I mean, if Mr. Pink get about 2 or 3 tenths. Within 2 or 3 tenths on this straight, then he could make a move into turn 1. Oh, as he goes a bit, no, he saves it, no, he doesn't save it, he's in the wall, and he comes to a complete stop. Don't go in the pits, don't give up. Oh, he's given up. With 17 minutes and 17 seconds left in this race, he has given up as his teammate is just coming out of the pits now. That is such a shame to see. Oh my gosh. Fight for the lowest. Axe gets a stop and go. A 30-second stop and go. He's come out behind Gucci Lucci just about. Yes, he has. But that is terrible for Honda. Ardell's in dead last. Axe has got a stop and go 30-second. That's his race pretty much over. And Mr. Titan is in the pits, retired. And Ardell is in the gravel as well. He's had an off. His race is pretty much over. As Ardell goes into pits, Mr. Titan is just left the session. He's given up. He's had enough. And that is terrible for the Honda family. We were talking about how good the Honda family was in race 1. They just won the championship with Max Verstappen in Formula 1. Won on ACC, Breakout Racing League side of things. This has been a terrible, terrible race for them tonight. As there goes Ardell, as we are now down to 5 drivers. His Redeemer makes a bit of a mess of the corner there, but he's still gonna get top 5, so that's a win-win for Redeemer after getting hit by Axe early on in the race. Mr. Pink can just cruise to the finish now. Only about 15 minutes left in this race. He can just cruise. The gap between him and Gucci is almost 30 seconds, so like we saw with Scar Tricks, it is just a dominant showing for Mr. Pink. Although he had much more of a challenge tonight with Mr. Titan than Scar Tricks did with Mr. Pink at Lasana last race. Him dead last. He'll still be P5, so probably a good result for him at least. Now. Oh, here's Ardell actually. This is perfect. Oh, he goes into the grass and then hits the wall. And then does he just straight line this hairpin? No, he brakes. He keeps going. Keeps going. Watch Mr. Titan. Hopefully we can catch his drift. He takes way too much curb. The Honda didn't like that. He tries to save it, and he hits the wall, and he just had enough. That is very a shame. Arndell hits the wall again, and you can see him not putting any input in the car. I think he's just given up at that point. He's just gonna pull off to the side and call it a day. Very unfortunate. Not what you like to see. I understand there's frustration in making mistakes, but there's only 7 drivers. Everyone gets points. On the 22 race calendar, those points really could have mattered, but it is what it is. And we are now left with 5 drivers in this race. Mr. Pink leading the way. Oh, as he goes off himself into the gravel! When he's got such a huge gap, it doesn't even matter. That's how... Oh gosh, you hate to see it. If Mr. Titan stuck it out, and Mr. Pink made that same mistake, Mr. Titan would have been leading this race. He could have defended with the damage. Of course, Tier 1 wasn't streamed last night, but I myself was in second place for the last 25 minutes of the race after a safety car, and defended against a 10-car train behind me. That's how terrible and hard it is to overtake at this track. So, I think, in my opinion at least, Mr. Titan should have stayed in the race. Anything could have happened, but that's very unfortunate. But Mr. Pink is just, I'd say cruising. I mean, it doesn't look like he's cruising based off the mistakes, but he's just vibing. He's got a 26-second gap to Gucci. He's only lost about 4 seconds with that mistake. Game stopper in third. He would have liked to have been ahead of second. I mean, Gucci, because it would have been second place, but he's about 14-15 seconds behind of Gucci Lucci. But he'll be happy with a podium for sure. Redeemer, another top 5 for him, considering he had contact in the early on in the race. He'll be happy with P4. And Axe, I don't know what to say about Axe. His race pace wasn't terrible. It may have been a bit slower than GameStopper and Gucci, but his qualifying pace was really good, getting P3. And I think he'll be happy with the P5. He won't be happy with himself going into the grass, almost hitting the tire barrier, touching the grass in the same place his fellow Honda teammate Ardell touched. So just got to cruise to the end here. There's about 11.5 minutes left, so there are no fights on track, so I guess it's just going to be enjoying the sound of ACC for the time being. Yeah, you did tease for the art of blocking there, Skeppy. I definitely have improved my racecraft. Really, I'd say preseason practice in Misano. And then, of course, the actual race in Misano, race 2. So, I just applied that to Zolder last night and it worked out. And it helped that it was Zolder. So, you can't really get an overtake done unless someone makes a mistake. Which I made none, except a few drifts in turn 1. But, like I said, it being Zolder, you really, really have to screw up your exits out of corners or touch the gravel to lose any spots. Great track to race on, but in terms of overtaking, it may as well be Monaco for GT3 cars. As Mr. Pink completes lap 22 of this race, 10 minutes left in the session. That'll probably be about 6-7 laps left of this race. So it's going to be a quiet end to the race unless we see more mistakes. But credit to Mr. Pink. He's led a good chunk of this race, made a few mistakes early on, but he's kept it in. He stayed in the session. He hasn't rage quit or anything, and he's being rewarded with a win. It'll be his first win of the season. Oh, it's revealed flat. It's car 95. That is Axe. He has spun. Go ahead and check the replays here. Not much excitement going on in the race, but that is something. Oh, he completely hopped the curb. He spins around. Oh, thankfully he doesn't make any contact with Gucci Lucci. Still P5 though, so you can just sit here for another 5.5 minutes and we'll have that top 5. Oh, his Redeemer spins round. He missed the apex, and that just unsettled the car. He was gaining on Game Stopper. His Game Stopper now has a drive-through. He got too much of the apex, and now he has a drive-through on what is the penultimate lap of the race. Wow. This is why we don't retire, folks. Because now, on the penultimate lap, Game Stopper has a drive-through, and he serves it. Fair on him. At maximum, he probably would have got a 30-second time penalty. And this is going to be about a 50-second endeavor through the pits. But that could... No, I don't think it... Whoa, Axe drift, save it! He saves it. that was a nice drift there. That's not what you wanted. He's about 6 seconds off his PB. Yeah, 6.5 seconds off. The leader is now on the final lap. As GameStop comes out the pits now, so even without that spin, Axe was never gonna stay ahead as he does a bit of shaking of the wheels. He goes off into the gravel. Oh my gosh, what is going on? He is just slammed into the barrier, and now he has a stop go of 20 seconds. Oh, excuse me. Okay. He's gonna cut the chicane too? Yes, he does. Does he have a puncture? I don't know what's going on. Can't tell if he has a puncture. Just revving out in third gear. Something is terribly wrong with that car. This Gucci Lucci is now in the pits. What is going on? What is going on in this race? The last 2 laps. There's Redeemer going off. Does he move out of the way of Mr. Pink? No, he's just sitting there. Maybe we'll let him through on the brakes here. No, Mr. Pink's gonna send it. Don't really need to, but he wants the position. The final lap of the race. You can just cruise to the end now. He will win the race.
The leader has finished the race.
But I don't know why Gucci is just sitting here. GameStopper's gonna get. No, he won't get the P3 right now. Oh yes, he will. I don't know why Gucci has done this. Maybe he had to leave and just wanted to sit in the pits. Access 1 is just crawling to the pits. He has to have a puncture because his tires are just causing marks on the track. Something is horribly wrong with that car. He's still only going to get P5. He will not get ahead of Gucci Lucci, but he is definitely not pleased with the end of that race. I don't know exactly what happened to him, but that's a very interesting end to the race for sure. The Redeemer can just crawl to the finish line with the only driver left to finish this race. Everyone else is in the pits except Axe F1, but he's off at turn 2 as he's already finished his race. As that was 28 laps of Zolder. It was boring at parts, exciting at others, and definitely exciting these last 2 laps, as that was a very hectic end to this race. Redeemer comes across the line now. He will be happy with that P2 and just gonna hit the barrier. Nice and in style. That's how you want to finish a race. He will take P2. Right now, invite the drivers. Your top 3 is Mr. Pink, LDR Redeemer, and Game Stopper. And that was a very interesting way to end the race. We're now gonna wait just a minute longer to see if our race winner will come into the party for interviews. If not, then we will do our interviews with second and third in about 1 or 2 minutes here.
Um, while we wait, just like to let you know, Pink is not going to be joining. He had to leave as soon as the race ended.
Copy that. Alright. Gentlemen, please make sure you hit the box in the party so that your audio is included for the stream. We're going to start off here with our third place man, Game Stopper. Tell me about your race, because you had an interesting one, a few good fights of Gucci Lucci, and then you came back for P3, and interestingly, Gucci Lucci came into the pits on the penultimate lap and just sat there. So let me know how your race went from your perspective.
I mean, it was an interesting race. I can say that. Didn't qualify the best, but was able to, benefit from early pit stop. Was able to get the jump on Gucci Lucci, and I think Arden. Then it was just pretty much putting your head down, trying not to make as many mistakes, and yeah, I ended up getting a track limits penalty for cutting a chicane too many times. So I had to do the drive-through towards the end of the race. So, yeah, P3 is best I could ask for.
Yeah, I was very surprised by that drive-through because Redeemer was catching you, and I said he missed the apex. He spun, actually, and then you got the drive-through immediately afterwards. I'm like, wow, what a crazy way to end the race. But podium is definitely good for you, and out of the 7 drivers we had in the race, and considering how close it was in the first couple 10, 20 minutes, I think you'll definitely be happy with P3.
Yeah, the battles with Gucci Lucci and trying to keep the gap to Redeemer was my main priority. So,
Yeah, well, I definitely think you'll be happy with that. On to Gucci Lucci. You have gotten P2, not Gucci Lucci, I'm sorry. Redeemer, you got P2 on that race. That's another podium for you. That's 3 out of 3 races now you have that podium, and this time it's second place. Tell me about your race.
Yeah, I was just sending a text message. First stint, I was catching Game Stopper, and I hit him on accident and threw him off track, and then I had a little fight with Axe, and I got light damage out of it. So I had to pit and fix that, and then I just put my head down and tried to gain as many positions as I could, and ended up catching up to Game Stopper, and then he got a drive through, and then I spun and still came home in P2, which really well, good result for Lexus and myself for today, and we'll move on to next week.
Yeah, I'd say you had a pretty uneventful race. There was contact with Axe that dropped you back. I believe you were the first one to pit, which set off the pit stops. But you made your way back to the field and you got a P2. Are you looking forward to the next race at Monza?
I mean, I'm always looking forward to the next races, but I didn't pit first. I want to say, like, the third person to pit.
I pitted first.
Oh yeah, it was Game
Yeah.
Stopper.
Yeah, I pitted fourth or whatever, and then Axe and Pink both went by me, and then after I came out of the pits, I was like, alright, just put your head down and maintain, and we'll see what Monza brings for us next week.
And how about you, Game Stopper? Are you looking forward to Monza, or are you just hoping you don't get taken out in turn 1?
Monza is definitely one of my better tracks. It's one of the tracks I have probably the most experience at. It's always a fun track. It's very high speed, which I think will benefit the GTR, especially down the straightaways. So definitely looking forward to that race.
Alrighty then. Well, thank you both for the interviews, and to the rest of you watching at home, thank you for watching BRL ACC Tier 2 Round 2 at Zolder. We'll be back next Monday, same time, same stream at Monza for Round 3, and I wish you all a good night or a good morning or even a good afternoon, and thank you.